So, Eylon, is this just the start of taking over Gaza and removing Palestinians from Gaza?
I should hope this is an opportunity for the international community to pressure Hamas to do what the whole world has been demanding that Hamas do, which is release the hostages, lay down its arms, and relinquish power. The war that Hamas started on October 7th, 2023 has been going on for far too long. There was optimism in Israel that Hamas might be about to reach a ceasefire to release at least half of the hostages. It then blew up those talks when international pressure escalated against Israel. And Israel now finds itself in an impossible situation now, with a war that needs to end, and the enemy refuses to end. It's refusing to release the hostages. It's refusing to accept a ceasefire. It's refusing and rebuffing international pressure and defying the will of the entire international community that it should disarm, that it should release those hostages. It's starving and torturing. And this plan is deeply controversial within the military, within the security cabinet, definitely.
You think it's right to take over Gaza City?
I think Israel has only impossible options with very difficult trade-offs right now. And we need to be honest about that. Israel does not have easy choices. The whole world is telling Hamas it must disarm. The whole world is telling Hamas it must free those hostages it's forcing to dig graves for the cameras. The whole world is telling Hamas it must lay down its arms. But Hamas is refusing to do that, and the world is offering lip service. And Israel doesn't have a magic wand. And Israeli military planners are therefore the only ones who have to confront the difficult question of what do you do about this terrorist state on your doorstep that is defying the united will of the international community to release those poor hostages, end the war, and let everyone move on.
Itamar, you disagree, right?
I agree with the big parts of what was said just now, but I would add to it some very important points. First of all, I would say that one of the major demands that the negotiators, including Qatar and Egypt and some other players, regional players and international players, what they demand from Israel for now is to declare that Israel is ready to stop the war from the Israeli side. The Israeli government until now refused to say it, not to speak about, to do on the ground things that will show that this is the Israeli policy. But I would like to say another thing. You know, everybody speak about the cabinet, the Israeli cabinet decision of last night. What I read in this cabinet decision, declaration, is that the only thing that was really said there was that Israel refused to end the war. All the other elements, including the plan, if there is a plan, to go into the Gaza City and to do that and that, I think that all these elements, details, are not something that we need to deal with. I'm not so sure that the Israeli cabinet is serious about it. And I have to show it. Part of it is the fact that the Israeli government, the timetable that they had put on the table, speak about something that will happen in October. October means in something about 2 months' time. I believe that it means that the whole declaration and the whole decision is some kind of a threat to Hamas and a threat to everybody that have an influence on Hamas. Look, we are serious to go on, and if nothing will be changed until October, we'll have to act, we'll have to do something more. What kind of something more? We'll try to get control on more areas of the Gaza Strip. But again, it's not something that will be done now. It's some kind of declaration. The only thing that is really happening now is that the Israeli cabinet say, we will not stop the war. And I can tell you more than it, I think that this is some kind of an answer to the Israeli public, because the majority of the Israeli public, the main demand from the Israeli government is to declare that it's the end of the war for the benefits of the Israeli interest.
What about the hostages, Eylon? What happens to them?
It's a good question.
Deeply.
I think that
You're asking it tomorrow, me?
Eylon, your turn. Then tomorrow, Eylon.
I'm obviously deeply anxious and concerned for the hostages because look at how they're being treated. Eviatar David this week was forced to dig his own grave for the cameras. The hostages are at imminent risk of death. And Hamas is refusing to release them. It's refusing to release them unconditionally. It's refusing to release them in the context of a ceasefire. And the hostage families are absolutely right to be concerned that an escalation of the military campaign puts their lives at danger. But dragging out ceasefire talks where Hamas is not engaging in good faith, as Steve Witkoff said, is also putting them in danger. They're at risk because they are being starved, because they're being tortured, and because Hamas is threatening to execute them if IDF forces come close. And so I hope that this threat of military action will be the one thing that forces Hamas to the negotiating table to release the hostages, because Israel really doesn't have many options for leverage over Hamas. Israel had hoped, for example, that control over the supplies going into the Gaza Strip would pressure Hamas to release the hostages.
While you're understandably concerned about the hostages, Israel does have options to get more food aid to the Palestinian civilian population who are starving. Horrendous deaths, starving, and being shot by Israeli forces. Plenty of options for Israel to stop that, aren't there, Eylon?
At the moment, there are no restrictions on humanitarian aid going into Gaza by the land crossings, and Israel is now leading an international coalition of 10 countries to airdrop aid into Gaza. The problem is not getting aid into Gaza. The problem is getting it around. No, so throughout this war, Israel has facilitated 1.9 million tons of aid into Gaza. There is no example.
You've seen the scenes of a population starving.
And I'm trying, Stephen, to explain. And I'm trying to explain the problems. The problem is not one of access into Gaza. The problem is one of distribution. The problem is that Hamas has been hijacking food on a large scale. I saw that in a BBC report the other day. And we're also witnessing a catastrophic failure of the UN distribution system. Let me give you just one example. I looked at the UN's own database yesterday. In the last month, the World Food Programme collected 1,014 trucks from the crossings. 1,007 of them were looted before reaching the warehouses. Out of 1,014 trucks picked up by the World Food Programme, only 7 safely reached the warehouses. So Israel is working together with the United Nations to try to ease humanitarian access, but that humanitarian system on the ground has collapsed. That is why Israel is now allowing private imports into Gaza, even though that was massively exploited by Hamas last time. It's why Israel is leading an international coalition to airdrop aid into Gaza, despite the criticism of how that aid gets to people. Because right now, the UN distribution system on the ground is not working. The only system that is working, for all its problems, is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has distributed over 100 million meals. And I think it's positive news now that there is talk of expanding that from 4 to 16 distribution centers to make sure that food can get directly to civilians and scale up that system that has been a lifeline for so many families in Gaza.
Abdul in Leicester. Hello, Abdul.
Hi, am I going to start before the news?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So the thing is, look, this is all same old Israeli rhetoric, propaganda. It's preposterous. People are dying, and children are dying on a daily basis. They're being starved to death. They're being bombed as they're trying to get food. This is absolutely horrific, and they're trying to take over the whole of the Gaza Strip. This has been there from day one. This is not now. This has been there from 1948. Plan Dalet. You look it up. It's all in black and white. It's all black and white. It's all documented. They've wanted to take over the whole of the land. Even Zippy Hotovely, she should be banned from the UK. She's stating the land is all ours. That way, we're not going to apologize for it. This is what she and many ministers have already stated this from day one. So the land is ours. It's our God-given gift. It's ours. We don't care where the Palestinians were. Even the settlers, Daniela Weiss, the godmother of all the settlers, as they call her. She even stated, "This land is ours. We don't care where they go. They can go wherever they want, but we don't want them here." Basically, that's the bottom line. So this
what
is
the solution here?
The solution, I'll tell you what the solution is. Like Ed Miliband said, and even Hamas previously agreed, and even what's his name, Hussam Zunla, to the Palestinian ambassador, he stated as well that they've all talked together. The 1967 two-state solution, we should have implemented that years ago. Now the problem is we keep on backing Israel no matter what they do. They'll carry on killing, they'll carry on massacring people, they'll carry on, and it's preposterous about there is aid. This is ridiculous. Douglas Murray doesn't know what he's talking about. It's preposterous. It's pure propaganda. Absolute rubbish. Right? We know people are starving and dying. Even if I said that, it'd be different. Doctors who've been there, doctors have come back from there, from the UK. They tell you straightforward. Amnesty International, UNICEF, Oxfam, Doctors Without Borders. Everybody's saying this is a genocide. Why is it now? Why are we backing this absolute monster in Israel? And believe me, in years to come, people are going to look back, and anybody who supported Israel and its actions, they will have nothing but regret, and they will be absolutely hated by everybody. Believe me, their own grandchildren will hate them. Why didn't you try and stop
do you want to deal with that?
I mean, I honestly don't know where to start. Frankly, it's infuriating to be accused of propaganda when I'm bringing UN numbers. Any of your listeners are welcome to go to app.un2720.org/tracking and see the UN's own numbers on the tonnage of aid that Israel has led into Gaza, how much has been intercepted on the way. And they can see for themselves that there is a systematic problem of aid distribution inside Gaza, despite Israel's best efforts to get aid to the people who need it and make sure that the Hamas government in Gaza cannot steal it. Ultimately, this horrible war that Hamas started cannot end until the hostages it is starving and torturing are free from its dungeons and until Hamas relinquishes power. Because this is a jihadi terror group whose reason for existing is to continue waging war against Israel until Israel is destroyed. The October 7th attacks were not just a terror attack, they were the opening shot of a regional war that sucked in the Iranian regime's other proxy armies to try to destroy the state of Israel. And the only path to peace in Gaza, the only path to peace in Israel and the wider Middle East, is for the Hamas regime that is despised by the entire Arab League that is begging it to just relinquish power, for Hamas to let go of power, let go of the hostages, let go of the past, and allow everyone to move forward to a future of peace.
We'll pause there for a second or two. We'll take the news. We'll come back in just a moment. Stay with us.